What's up, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo, and welcome to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm so excited to share this super cool video with you. Today we're tackling a dungeon and a boss. This is the Zora's Domain dungeon and the Divine Beast of Varuta. It is incredible, and I think you're gonna love the way that they have structured the dungeons and the battles and the whole game, really. I've played over 30 hours, loved every second. If you guys want more Zelda content, I'll try to show you cool moments from my experience, more of the dungeon, more of the bosses. Just hit that like button, let me know in the comments. I'll bring it your way. For now, though, let's begin our journey. Prince Sidon says, "Glad to see you're ready to go, Link." He is Prince of the Zora with some shining teeth. "Are you ready for this? Do you have your Zora Armor and enough shock arrows? Wonderful. You never cease to amaze, Link. Now then, let us go and appease that divine beast. Here we go." Alright, so we are going to jump in. It's residing in the water. Shock arrows and water don't sound like a good mix, but hey, gaze now upon the divine beast's back. Notice all the pink orbs. That will be our target. Those glowing pink orbs are what we want to shoot with shock arrows, and we'll use the Zora Armor to ascend the waterfalls. So Prince Sidon is going to take us straight to the side of the divine beast, and he believes in us. So hurry up and get on my back. We're ready. Good answer. Let's get going. I have fallen in love with this game and am absolutely addicted. And this is one of my favorite moments thus far. I didn't reach this first dungeon until about 12 hours into the game, so you can really explore everywhere until you hit the dungeons, or you can try and tackle them straight away, or spread them out, or do them all together, or all at the end, whatever you want to do. But Prince Sidon is going full speed, and it's up to us to ward off Varuta's attacks. And this is something super freaking cool. They have a giant action sequence before you even reach the puzzly dungeon or the boss at the end. So he's going to be hurling giant ice blocks at us. Divine Beast Varuta. There are 4 Divine Beasts in the game, and they are these big mechanized monsters that remind me of Shadow of the Colossus. Meet Zelda dungeons, and you'll see why in a little bit. We gotta knock these ice blocks away, and the goal of the game here is to time it so we joust them straight away, eliminate the defenses, and are able to ascend those waterfalls. So here we go. Let's crush that thing or not. If we don't hit it exactly, it will regen, so you gotta make sure, boom, you doink these things away with precision, line it up, knock it away. We're getting the hang of it now. Good work, Link. Let's see if we can make it 3 in a row. No, we can't. Those backside shots are a little harder to get. Come on, Ice Blocky. Come to me, come to me. Ugh, so close. Alright, let's eat a little food. The Zora Armor is something that is acquired and allows you to climb waterfalls, any waterfall in the game, so you can utilize it all around the world of Breath of the Wild, not just in the Zora land. And there's other armor in the game that help you in different areas as well. So there we go. Knock it away. And now Prince Sidon reminds us to grab our shock arrows. We're going to head up a waterfall and try to pop this dude's pink orbs. Away we go. Climb up, burst out. There we are. Slow-mo in the air with that shock arrow like we just don't care. And let's knock that thing in. Back down we go. Grab a board. Whew. Alright, things are going good. Now it has more ice blocks ready to shoot at us, but we've got a little bit more proficiency this time, so let's pop these dudes right back out of our way. I love the ferocity of his swimming. Look at this guy go. Flip, flip, flip. Freaking new age flipper here. Alright, we took that one to the head, but hopefully we can block the next bit. And you really do need to prep for this. Before you even reach this area, there is a mini-boss battle that I found really difficult. So we'll eat some more shrooms and grab some radish, but we gotta make sure that we knock these things away. So there we go. It's tougher than it looks, I promise. The timing of this is really tricky, especially since they kind of curveball in. And there's no real indicator of... Right there. Okay, that was pretty good. Alright, so what's interesting about the dungeons in Breath of the Wild is that they don't have unique weapons. It's not about grabbing the weapon and utilizing that throughout the dungeon. It's about using what you've learned and what you've acquired outside in the rest of the game, and putting those skills and those ideas into practice on the inside of the Divine Beast. Now, there's over 100 shrines in Breath of the Wild, so if you're worried about only 4 dungeons, don't be. The shrines are like micro-dungeons, and there's so many of them that you don't really have to think of it as only 4 dungeons. Think of it as 4 big dungeons, and then like 120 little itty-bitty dungeons. So we're gonna shock arrow this elephant. It kind of looks like a water elephant, right? Here we go. Glide down, get a good angle, aim, and fire, my friend. That's a direct hit. Varuta is not happy, so let's get the heck out of there. He is auto-swimming. I'm not controlling his swimming, but I am controlling Link's ability to deflect now a new kind of icy attack. It is the ice, I don't know what the heck you call this thing, ice ball of pain, and we can knock it away, which is one way to do it. It gets really close to you, but I will show you that is not the smart way to do things. You can use a spear or something of that sort, but the better way to do this is by utilizing arrows. Arrows are able to make these things go away real nice and quick. I was trying to lock on and see if I could target lock, but the arrow is the way to go. That just knocks it away really handily. And I was hoping that this video, you know, the game is like so freaking long. Like I said, I played over 30 hours. It's supposed to be, you know, 50, 60, 70, depending on how much you do. So there's no way I was going to be able to do a full series. I wanted to bring you guys some really cool content. So I wanted to bring you dungeons, bosses, interesting things that I found, and a whole bunch of Switch coverage as well. I've got the system, obviously. I've been doing review and update on Zelda, and we'll have more coming right around the corner. But I wanted to kick things off with this epic moment because it's been my favorite sequence in all of Breath of the Wild thus far. So here we go. Boom. That is 3 out of 4 on the Pink Orb hunt. 1 left to go, and oh baby, now he's merging balls with blocks. So we gotta have timing and we gotta have arrows. And I thought it was really cool that they decided to interject this like action sequence right before the dungeon. It's not something you normally, you know, see. And Aonuma was talking for a while about how like getting to the dungeon and entering the dungeon would be a task and a challenge all of its own, and it truly is, because there were definitely steps to get to this point, and then from this point, from what you've seen, now I have this action sequence before I can even enter, and we're getting the hang of the timing, which is good. We got a whole lot of things to deflect away, but we'll make sure we get the job done. You don't want to fire too early just because they can move, but once it comes in decent range, whoa, that guy curved at me out of nowhere. Once they come in decent range, you can knock them loose. Now, I have 24 shock arrows. I only really need 1 more for the Pink Orb. So if I use a few on these ice balls, I should be okay. And arrows are kind of a hot commodity in Breath of the Wild. They are pretty prevalent. Like, there's a lot of them around, but not so many that you can just fire them willy-nilly. You want to use them in dire situations, battles where you feel like you're too outnumbered, or where you want to kind of come in for a headshot insta-kill and do more of a stealth approach. So let's knock that one last ice cube away. Come on, man. All that cold water is not good for your stomach. No wonder you're gushing liquid. Alright, let's go find the last waterfall to climb, and we should shut this guy down. The whole goal is he's been flooding the waters of Zora's domain, and we need to get in here and finish the fight. So I am going to glide over and try to find where the last Pink Orb is. It's not even on this side. Instead, it's right here, and it looks like we found it. Let's go slow-mo as we come close for the kill shot, and Varuta is going to slow down. Wow, that was astounding, says Prince Sidon. An absolute thrill. Come on, little elephant. What's that elephant game? Oh, isn't there an elephant game where they like blow butterflies out their nose? What was the name of that? Anyone remember having that? It's like an elephant game where you catch the butterflies. Wacky elephants, or like, I don't know. Link, look, the water spouting from Ruta has slowed down. Obviously a reference to Ruto. Ruta is floating higher now. You wanted to venture inside it, right? I'll bring you closer. We're counting on you, hero. Do good work in there. Alright, let's see what we can do. And at this point, I had never been inside one of these dungeons, so I didn't know what to expect at all, how the puzzles worked, what the structure was like. But you'll find out as we approach.
Well, Link, here we are. Looks like this is where the real work starts. Best of luck. Nice job cutting off the water flow from this divine beast. Show the enemy no fear. I'll see you back at Zora's domain. Farewell.
As he says farewell, the thing booms. Like it's got a mind of its own, and it definitely does. Alright, so it's rising up, so we're able to access all of the inner chambers. Hello, Mr. Elephant. How are you doing?
Finish the job.
Now, I did want to show you the dungeon and the boss, but I won't spoil the overall story and what's going on there. I think that's something that is more fun to experience for yourself. And I will make sure if there's anything that is a spoiler like this dungeon to make sure it's obvious that it is a spoiler in case you are wanting to see a little bit but not all, or you're not wanting to see anything. I definitely want to do you guys right so you don't get caught in a sticky situation. Let's load in though and see what this guy's got going on inside. Of course, everything in Breath of the Wild involves the Sheikah Slate. So the travel gate registered to the map, and that is our point of entry for Varuta.
You're here. I must say that I am so happy to see that this day has finally arrived. Now, Ruta can be freed of Ganon's control.
Beautiful.
You'll need a map to prevent you from getting lost. The guidance stone there contains the information that you will need.
Beautiful. And I won't even spoil who that is talking, because there are multiple characters that narrate your adventure, and I won't even give that away. But these are the evil eyes of calamity that lurk in the dungeons, and they will leave their gooey trace around the environment unless you pop those eyeballs. There's also some little mini guardians here. Hello, little itty bitty, trying to fire your laser at me. Goosh, we dodge him like a pro. I love the whole aesthetic. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a panel at GDC where they talked about that at one point they wanted to have an alien invasion in Breath of the Wild, and you can kind of see how some of that alien work applies to the Guardians and to the world of Breath of the Wild itself. It's a very, I don't know, it's the most technological Zelda, the most like interesting Zelda from that standpoint. Look at that shock arrow ripple through the water, and we crush another one of those calamity eyes. So the goal in this dungeon is to activate terminals. And you'll solve puzzles basically to either access or uncover or open up these portals, or these terminals rather. And that is sort of the focal point for where your brain needs to be. So it looks like there's something over here we can mess with, a gear. And like I mentioned, no unique weapons in the dungeons. You'll just utilize your runes, your combat, and your brain to put everything together and kind of make it work. So this, I think, is probably the first dungeon. I guess this is the first dungeon that they want you to find. That would be my thought. So it starts off with a nice easy one here. Just use your magnesis to roll this gear around, lift the terminal out of the little pool, and bingo, we can access it right away. There we go.
There are 4 terminals remaining. Don't give up.
4 remaining. Okay, so 5 terminals spell victory for us, or at least spell completion of this task. There's the big room. And I think we all know what happens here. So let's leave that for now. It seemed a little spooky. Alright, so there's a locked gate where the map is. We activated that terminal. Let's go out here and up this ramp, see what else we can find. Maybe there's some more terminals, more puzzles. I'm guessing the map will really help us. And I will say that, in general, size-wise, these dungeons are smaller in terms of number of rooms than something like Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. But in pure scope and, like, concept, they're very large. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like, do you want the traditional dungeon, or do you want something new that has a bigger idea? And that's kind of the whole thing of Breath of the Wild, right? They sacrifice linearity, and they sacrifice a little bit of the design that allows for in order to open things up and give you this brand spanking new experience that feels like it's about discovery. And the dungeons themselves pack in those sensations of uncovering a mysterious world. So there's clearly a ball over there that I cannot magnesis. And we've got a wheel moved by water, and it looks like there's a terminal on the inside of that wheel. So is there any way I can magnesis this wheel? Does not look like it. I'm wearing the stealth mask and the Zora Armor currently. Let's go up here, see what we can find. Ugh, more gook, but no eyeball to pop it with. And what's interesting is in the dungeons, normally you can climb almost everything, but in the dungeons, you can't climb majority of the surfaces. And they make it that way so you can't just, like, sort of, you know, force your way through the dungeon. You can't just get to a high point via climbing if you have a ton of stamina and win out that way. You have to accomplish things via the puzzle. So this is getting us nowhere. But I do see a chest up at the top left of your screen, so let's go grab that if we can. This is attached to the wall by a big gear, a big stone column. Alright, so we make it. And let's grab this chest. What do we got now? What do we see? A silver rupee, 100 of them. Your rupees are acquired usually by blowing up rocks and finding rubies and opals and sapphires. That's the best way to get money. You can also sell stuff that you acquire throughout the world, but the most expensive and by far the best thing to sell are those precious gems and stones that you find littered around the world in black rock. Ooh, a calamity mouth, and it's spitting out, vomiting up some devilish evil. We got some skeletons with horns flying our way. Let's get these guys out of here. Do I shoot the mouth? Okay, so shooting the mouth does absolutely diddly squat. Nothing happens if you shoot the mouth, so remember that. We gotta look for something else, because this mouth is not working. I'm gonna try to bomb the mouth. Let's see what that does. Ooh, never mind. There's the eye. Okay. Hit the eye. I missed it. Get out my way. Get out my way. Get out my way. Beautiful. There we go. That should shut down this sticky spot right here. Poof. We'll finish these dudes off. And make sure when you enter a dungeon that you have a wide range of weapons, of shields, of arrows. You're going to need a lot of different things. And if you come in ill-prepared, you're just going to end up leaving and returning. Aha. We've got a big gear spot here. And another locked terminal. Lots of locked doors. Not a whole lot of obvious ways forward. And I like this. I like that they decided to challenge us. Even if the dungeons are less linear, even if the dungeons are smaller in size, I like that they want to bestow a little bit of brain jam on us. I like that. So let's see what we can do with this ball. It's not going to magnesis up, but perhaps we can do something else. Yeah, there's no way to grab onto this thing. So instead, let's go to Stasis. Because if you don't know Stasis, Stasis allows you to lock something in time, and then if you hit it, it will transfer all the force to said object. So let's try that out. We'll stasis this. Smash it up a little bit and see if we can rock this whole gear. Now, I'm expecting that this whole thing is going to rotate and spin quickly, so let's get out of here. But in fact, I think nothing happened. So clearly that was an ill-conceived plan. Nothing happened. You can see there's a spot for that ball to go in, but I clearly need to rotate the giant gear in order to make that happen. So let's go check out this big room just to see. There's some little pads on the floor, and what looks to be a central hub terminal here. Sheikah Slayer authenticated, unable to activate main console. Yeah, so we gotta find the other terminals before going for the main console. All right. So we've got a whole lot of terminals in a map room, but none of them seem to have an obvious solution. Let's head back up to the water wheel. We've spotted 3 terminals. There's 4 in total that we need to activate, right? 4 more? Actually, we spotted 2. 1 inside the little wheel, and 1 locked up on the big wheel. Anything around this edge? No. Nothing to see there. So let's go back in. What the heck can we do with our runes? And this is what you gotta always be thinking. Whether it's a shrine or a dungeon, how can you use your runes to progress? How can you use your runes to move you forward and make you a little bit closer to your eventual goal? Alright. So let's... Ugh, that's not gonna work. Oh my goodness gracious. Be careful. These rooms are not meant to be platforming challenges. They're much more about manipulating the environment and utilizing your skills. Again, the omission of climbing walls means that they want you to think this out, not physical, force your way through. But I know now, I see water, and I know that I gotta do something with it. So, what the heck should we do? This big cog needs to stop spinning right about now, and all of the little neurons are firing, and I'm trying to figure out how the heck can I activate this here thing. Can I do it right now? It won't even work. I can't even climb into the... I'm like the worst hamster ever. I can't even climb into the wheel. Can I activate it? I cannot. This is not going to work. So again, brute force and just trying to just smash your way through a situation, not going to work. But I see water here. What if we shock the water? Not a whole lot of luck. Instead, let's use a rune. I've got my Cryonis rune that'll freeze this water, stop it from spitting, and now I have a clean and easy access to the terminal. What perfect timing. We're able to just go right to it. Bingo.
There are 3 terminals remaining. You can do it.
3 terminals remaining. Here we go. Alright, so that one we solved. Now let's see if we can get that bigger guy figured out. How the heck are we going to get that thing working? But, again, sometimes it's hard to force your way through a situation. So instead, I'm going to go after the map. I think the map is important. And you'll realize soon that maps in Breath of the Wild are not just guides to the rooms of the dungeons. They are a necessary means for it. Because watch what happens when we acquire this map. Let's go in. Alright. Stop time. Smash this thing like crazy. If it can be magnesis, if it can be stasis, you probably want to do something with it. And the fact that I could stasis this alerted me like, maybe I can actually knock this thing up. And even though I was hitting it forward, it did propel the gate up. So we'll go in and grab this map, and look what we find. Boom. It is a map of the Divine Beast that also gives me control of the good old elephant. So what else can we do with this elephant?
Good. You've obtained the map of the Divine Beast. You will see several glowing points on your map which represent the terminals that control Ruta. Take Ruta back by activating all of the terminals. Be careful.
Wonderful. So you can manipulate certain aspects of the Divine Beast from the map screen. And this is something that plays out across the dungeons. Again, I can't get out of here, so you want to make sure that you have weapons, because if you didn't have weapons, you would have to fast travel away and then fast travel back. Luckily, I do have weapons, so I can bust this gate open for at least a couple more times. We'll need it once more. Once we complete this room, we are going through and forward. Beautiful. Alright. Now we have the map. Now we have control of Ruta. Now we are able to manipulate this mechanism from within. So that big gear, I feel like we are going to be able to take control and spin this thing in our favor. Let's head back up and see what happens now that we have access to sort of the brain, the mind of this machine. And I think it's a really cool idea. What other Zelda game allows you to take control of the dungeon? You know, you're always manipulating the dungeon with a little item or with a little weapon, but here you're actually almost like fusing with the dungeon and utilizing your Sheikah Slate to directly control the environment in which you are puzzling. So I have access to Ruta's trunk, and I can change the position. And by messing with the position, hopefully something good can happen. You can see in the bottom right the map, and that trunk is moving. And now that trunk has activated a water stream that now is spraying in to spin the gear. So you saw earlier that Ruta was shooting water still out of her trunk, and that water is now coming into the dungeon because I lifted up what I was trying to do. I lifted up the trunk so that it would be able to spray down in and spin this gear. There was a little gear being spun by the water, and so now this big gear, this big cog, is being spun by an even bigger stream of water. What we want to do is freeze this ball while it's in its socket, because that clearly opens the door, but you can see there's spikes in there, so we have to freeze it just the right time so that that chamber is right side up, and so that that chamber, the terminal is accessible, because if it's too tilted or too slanty, you won't be able to get in there and do your thing. So last possible second, we're going to time stop that. You saw the ball was starting to slide away. We time stop. Now we got to wait for the chamber to rotate. Come on, Harry, get in that secret chamber. Let's go. Q. Just barely. We're in. And now we can examine this. And once we scan our Sheikah Slate, it will unlock those bars. So we're not trapped in here forever.
There are 2 terminals remaining. You're nearly there.
2 terminals to go. We're getting closer. And again, it's all about manipulating the dungeon itself. So what else can we do? That thing seems to be complete. But where else could we go? Let's move the trunk a little lower and see what the heck else it can do. There's the trunk, there's the water stream. And you'll notice, now we're able to rotate this the other direction. So maybe we can climb up here. Ooh, don't touch the goo. Let's see if we can get aboard the big gear. And if we'll be, oh baby, almost a dangerous fall. But let's see if we can get aboard this big gear and work our way up to the upper floors of this dungeon. Alright, so no boss keys, no compass. It's a new era of Zelda, but I really like it, and I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks. But we're moving this thing this way, and now I'm going to run and try to jump. And we got it. Beautiful. Alright, let's fight this guy. Get out of here, itty-bitty guardian. You're no match for me. Shoot your lasers if you dare. I will hit you. And try to impair everything about you, especially that annoying laser beam. Two-handed weapons are the way to deal maximum damage, although they do leave you vulnerable to short little stabs. But I got a Guardian Spear, which is a good weapon to have. I really like the Guardian weapons. They're fast, and usually they're decently damaging, and they're easy to acquire. Plus, you get the Ancient Screws and Shafts, which can be used for upgrades elsewhere in the game. So let's hit this, and it's going to bring a waterfall down. So now we have a quick travel point. Remember, the Zora Armor allows us to ascend these waterfalls. So we are able to move our way back to this point of the dungeon instantly. Alright, let's climb out to the trunk itself and see what we find. If you look on the map, you'll see little blinking icons, and those little orange pieces or yellow pieces, I think they're kind of orangish, are the terminals that we're looking to head for. So you can see there is one up in the eye, and then there is one in the trunk. So let's lower this trunk down so that we're able to run across it and activate that terminal. Alright, it also looks like there's a treasure chest up there, as well as a Calamity Eye. Well, that's a little too high for me, so let's lower it down even more. Is that going to be good right there? Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Let's check it out. If we need to go all the way down, we can. But there's another mouth, so it's going to start spitting skulls out at me. And let's see if we can't hit that eye. Skull, don't kill me. Got the eye, that's good. So that's the last skull that mouth will ever spit. And just like that, we poof away the evil Ganon goo. Alright, from here, I gotta figure out how I can get up and inside this guy. Because there's the chest, which I'm probably gonna need to lower the trunk even more. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, all the way down, Big Bessie. Lower your snout. And please don't sneeze, otherwise it'll be a long and painful fall. Although Link takes pretty good fall damage, especially the paraglider. You can kind of mitigate that really well. Another Ancient Shaft, good for trading in for eventual upgrades for our stuff. Now, it's going to be a little tricky to get back in there. So what I'm going to do is zoom us forward a little bit. So let's get back to the baseline of the dungeon. I had to re-enter because I lowered it. There's a chest at the bottom there. Didn't figure out how to get that one out. Maybe you guys can in the comments. But I'm going to float my way up to this chest, which should provide a valuable weapon. So it looks like we have scrounged up a Knight's Halberd, which could come in handy for the eventual boss battle. It's a spear used by knights, adept in mounted combat. The spearhead is modeled after an axe, and it does 13 damage, which is my lucky number. So I feel like this could be useful once we eventually reach the corrupt killer that lurks inside here. Alright, so we've still got 2 terminals left, Eyeball Terminal and Trunk Terminal. How the heck are we going to get there? Well, let's try moving this thing all the way up and seeing what we can do with some extra water. Because clearly there is another level that I need to get to, and the question is, how the heck do I get there? I was thinking maybe if I put the water directly down here, I could climb up the waterfall and see how that would work. So let's, there's the water stream. Can we move this so that I can ascend the stream of Ruta. It's still not close enough. Alright, one more little notch and we should be good. Can we ascend this at all? It's still not close enough. Alright, we'll go down even a little lower. Alright, are we able to climb this? I don't think so. There's no A button prompt, and now the whole thing's out of here. So let's lift the trunk up to its full height and see what we can do. We still got to get up there for the terminal on the tip of its nose. And I got to figure out a way to make this work. So let's try to climb up. Again, these are not climbable surfaces, so it's not an easy answer. We can get this high right here. Let's lower it just a little bit, because eventually I got to get up in the eye of the elephant. So let's try right there and see what that does for us. And I'm thinking maybe if I get to the top, lower it enough to get to the top, and then raise it back up, I can kind of use it as a springboard to escalate my adventures further into the eye of the beast. Let's take this thing down all the way, lower it, let's go past the treasure chest, and go to the very nostrils of this beastie. And be careful not to fall, because if you fall off, you will die instantly. That's why there's the travel point on the dungeon. It kind of exists as its separate instance. You cannot jump off this and just climb back up. You will need to travel to it, I believe. At least that's how it's worked for me thus far. So here we are. Let's stand behind the chest and use this as sort of a barrier between us and falling, and then raise the snout back up and try to soar our way straight in. Now, there still is that terminal up at the tip, and I have no idea of what to get to. Alright, we gotta be careful here, and that was a forced glide. Can we get on top of the beast? Yes, we can. Oh, please. Oh, dear. Oh, me, oh, my. Was that bad news? It looks like we missed the jump. Alright, so you do have to be pretty precise here, and you do have to utilize your skill. Alright, so the trunk is back down, and we should be able to, once we're brave enough, glide our way back to the tip, and maybe even find that other terminal. Let's see. Now that the trunk is down and I'm at a higher point, maybe this is going to work out in our favor. I'm debating right now what to do, and I think a jump is the appropriate course of action. We got to see where this other terminal is, and maybe it is directly on top, underneath the waterfall. Alright, can we raise it while we're midair? Well, it looks like we can probably land right on this flat surface. Alright, is there any way we can, like, go through the grate? Still puzzled by where the terminal is here. I can't freeze the water at all, so that's not gonna work. Now the question is, where the heck is the terminal? So let's raise this up a little bit. Not too much, but just enough so that we have a flat surface to walk around on. And let's see if somewhere over here is a terminal. Aha, there it is. We found it. Okay, so we got to play the very careful rotation game and move this elephant's trunk slowly but surely and walk up. Oh my god, that was terrifying. Alright, I'm not sure if there is a smoother way to accomplish what I just did, but that was a very, very exhilarating way to do it. And now we are right here. Still can't reach the terminal, so we're going to continue to roll this trunk back towards Ruta itself. And it's not going to let us. Again, this proves right here that the terminals must be pretty darn straight up in order to scan your Sheikah Slate. You can't really fudge your way through, like I've said. Okay, so we've got it all straightened up. We're going to go right here, examine away, and boom. That is the second to last terminal.
Just one terminal remaining. I have faith in you.
Alright, if you say so, I believe you. The good news is, we are pretty darn high up right now. So if you think about what we've seen, if you think about where we've been, we put ourselves in a pretty good position. So 4 terminals down, and if you think about it, we use the Ice rune, we use the Magnesis rune, we use the Stasis rune, and we used movement, and we also used the beast itself. So we've used a whole bunch of different ways to access and accomplish the different tasks. And it looks like there is a roof to Ruta with some chests and some calamity eyes. So let's glide down and grab this stuff. Maybe there is no eye over here, just a whole lot of muck and guck. And it will damage you if you touch it, but for a quick minute to grab some ice arrows, totally worth the lost half heart. I think there is another chest on the other side, but I would have to ascend the trunk and climb back down, and I would rather just go for the last terminal. There's a little itty-bitty hole here, and we're going to drop down because I'm assuming this is where we need to go for that final terminal. So we head in, and there are a whole bunch of flames, and I'm sure you can already guess what needs to be done here. First, though, let's dispose of this evil, stinking mouth and find the eye that lurks on the ceiling. Come here, Mr. Eye. Get shocked and silenced. There's still a skull man doing work with a horn. Boom. We'll double axe him once and twice. Sleep tight, sweet prince. And now let's magnesis this little handle and see what we can do. Ugh, we're opening up the roof, it looks like. Oh, I know why. So we're opening the roof. Can you guess? We're opening the roof so that we have access, a point to dump in the water stream from the trunk to shut off these flames, because as you see, there are a ton of flames and a terminal in the center. No way I'm getting through there, not even with the strongest elixir. So let's move the water spray. I went the wrong way, so we'll go back this way. Luckily, you don't have to, like, they really have taken a lot of, there's a lot of stuff going on here that is able to expedite your process and make the adventure a whole lot more fun. So you don't have to, like, wait for it to go all one way and then go all the other way. But we have accomplished the task we set out to accomplish, which is to get all the terminals. So we are going to dive down into the water below and be thinking about what the heck is going to go down in that big room once all the terminals are activated. That is where we're heading. That's where this all ends. For now, though, come on, Link. Come on, buddy. Let's hop down right and see. Are you going to go? I have no idea why I was standing here like this. Okay, there you go, Link. Good work. I guess you just need a little mental nap. After all of that moving of Ruta, it's beautiful. All right, Sheikah Slate authenticated.
Terminals. Now you can start the main control unit. There should be a new glowing mark on your map. Head there. Be careful not to let your guard down.
Wonderful. Okay, so be careful not to let your guard down. Go to the new marker on your map. Ominous things indeed. And I'm sure you can all guess what is next, and that is the freaking boss. This is one of the big bosses of Breath of the Wild, and you're about to witness it first hand. Let's activate the main console and see what appears. Oh, heck no. Hello, evil creature of calamity and chaos. What is up? It is Water Blight Ganon, Scourge of Divine Beast of Ruta, and this thing looks like something out of Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
Please take care. That thing is one of Ganon's creations. I put up as much of a fight as I could, but it proved to be my demise 100 years away.
Remember when I thought my Guardian Spear was cool?
I believe that you are well prepared for this moment. I have faith in you.
Yeah, this guy has a spear that's like 7 times as long. How fair is that? Alright, come on, Water Blight Ganon. Drink some water, and we're instantly in the battle. We've got a bunch of weapons, and let's figure out what we're going to use. I think the halberd and the ice arrows. Yes, I can tell it is very long. It's way bigger than me. And he throws it spiritually, and we're gonna have to eat a lot of food. Luckily, I cooked a bunch of meals before I entered the dungeon, and that's something I highly advise. You're gonna take on a mini boss, you're gonna take on a mega boss. Make sure that you go ham on the food and the cooking. Little arrow does damage. It has a health bar, as you can see, so it's less about accomplishing a specific pattern and more about just dealing damage. Now, the boss still is going to attack in patterns, but what I want to do is just crush this cook. He is trying to serve me up all hot and spicy, and I gotta cool his jets and stop him from being a punk. So we're gonna try and keep shooting him and dealing some damage. The arrows are dealing decent damage, but he is working me quite well. I'm gonna need to eat a whole lot more of my cooking. I got 6 hearts right now. I am not okay, actually. I've only taken about a quarter of his health, And he is kind of aggressive. Let's go in and see what it's like to actually stab him. Wow, that does a lot of damage. This is a good strategy, but he's got attacks to fend me off from up close as well. Alright, so I'm just going to eat what I got. I hate to waste all this food. It took ages to prepare, but we have to try and fight this dude. Shooting him does some damage. There we go, finally dodged it. Alright, come on, buddy. The timing on this, you gotta wait a little bit longer. I was jumping the gun too early here. Teleports around, but as long as you stay back and use a ranged weapon, and after he teleports, you can come in with some nice spear strikes or any sort of weapon strikes, you should be okay. But again, he will use those up-close CQC type attacks, these AoE type attacks to really damage you. And I'm trying to stab at him, but it looks like he has my number here. That's not bad for a first try. We got him down to about 40%. I am low on health. And, okay, so you can dodge. If you're far enough back, you can dodge as well. These ice arrows are a good way to go. Now we have him down to about 50%, and I missed the last swipe. So that was my first attempt. Now let me show you my superstar attempt, where we bully this guy so badly, he's not even able to activate his full-on second wave of attacks. Check this out. So this boss is going to be victimized by my speedy elixir and my decision to go all-out offensive. So Water Blight Ganon is back. His spear has long reach. We still get hit. That's still a tricky attack to avoid. But we'll go in with some shock arrows. Out of shock, let's go to freaking ice. Or, you know what? Let's see if regular arrows do the trick. There we go. We got the flurry dodge, and we come in for the rush. The nice thing is no matter how far away you are, the flurry rush will teleport you instantly right to the boss. We deal enough damage to stun him, and so we can just pile on the pain, and just like that, we've already chunked off a third of his health. Alright, so, Water Blight, what you got next on the agenda? Here we go. Another flurry rush. And we get a great dodge. Those are crucial and so helpful. Now, we've stunned him, and just like any old Zelda boss, he does have multiple patterns. But it's not about you waiting for his patterns, it's about you avoiding and taking advantage of your attacks. So he is going to manipulate the environment, make this a 4-pillar ball game, and create a whole lot of water. Yeah, I can definitely tell that. So he's going to head over here, and now what he wants to do is throw some of his treasured ice blocks at me, just like they did outside. So I gotta knock those away in time and aim for his head, and we deal some significant damage to him. There we go, a direct shot. We stun him again. We can swim over real quick and hopefully get in a few strikes. And like I said, this is kind of my perfect round here. And so we are going to really damage him so freaking much. The halberd is out, but the guardian spear is still here. He's going to teleport away once more. And you can be really quick about it. You want to take this boss out without losing hardly any health. Just go for the kill right away. Got another direct shot in his eye, which is a stun. So we're going to come in here and deal some significant damage. He is actually real low on health, and we may finish this fight right here, not even allowing him to really utilize his full arsenal of moves. Boom, baby. What a finish. What a boss win. So our reward is this heart piece and some story bits. Now I won't spoil the story bits, but I will grab the heart piece and fully work this machine back to a cooperative place. And as we wrap up, I'm actually going to show you a little bit of the boss's second wave of moves, just so you can see them, because I did really crush that thing and get through him super duper fast. So once you activate this, you'll never be able to re-enter again, so it's something you want to be careful about. But I hope you really enjoyed this video. It was a pretty long adventure, but it was a fun one, and I hope you had fun as well. We got to see a dungeon, we got to see the action sequence leading up, and we got to see a boss battle. So as we wrap up, check out the other attacks that this guy had I let him get to that point. Big thanks to everybody for all your support. So pumped to have the Switch in hand, so pumped to be playing this brilliant Zelda. I think it is one of Nintendo's best games ever, potentially their best ever. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the month. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more Zelda, if you want more dungeons, if you want more cool moments, if you want a live stream or something, let me know in the comments below. Happy to bring it your way. Like I said, a full walkthrough is a huge undertaking. It would be 70 hours or whatever, and it would really clog up the channel. But I think that we can do cool content and have just as much fun. So thanks again for watching. Have a fantastic day, everybody. I love you so much. Hope you're enjoying the Switch if you got it. Otherwise, stay tuned here, and I will be bringing you all sorts of beautiful coverage of the brand new system. Until that time, everybody, thanks again for watching. Have a nice day. Drink so much. I love you, and we will see you all later.